Can you believe town manager Mark Ells actually took a vacation? Filling in for him for our manager's update is assistant manager Andy Clyburn. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
And this is a perfect opportunity. Congratulations on finishing your first year
Thank you.
at the town of Barnstable.
I couldn't be more pleased. I'm thrilled to be here and happy for the opportunity. Couldn't be happier.
Great. So we've got the town manager out on vacation. So it seems that you and Mark can be interchangeable at some point in time. You really don't oversee just one thing. You do everything together.
Well, that's how we try to run the office. I try to assist Mark in anything and everything he needs. Obviously, he has a wide range of responsibilities, and he can't be at 2 or 3 or 4 places at once, so I try to fill in wherever I can. And we try to be interchangeable. You know, we try to execute the same vision, execute the strategic vision of the council, and whatever Mark needs, I'm there for him. And obviously, filling in today, it speaks volume to Mark that he actually is finally taking a vacation. I can't tell you how many times he has scheduled vacations and just found himself back in town hall working issues. You know, not because anyone asks him to. That's just that personal accountability he has. Very few people have that he does, and we're very fortunate to have him. And,
Great. So let's back up a little bit and talk about basically what were some of the accomplishments in this first year that you were here? I mean, town government is something different. You came from a Coast Guard background. Managing people probably not new to you, but the process of town government and the initiatives that have to come forward and to be worked through. What were some of those that were challenging and that you feel a good accomplishment?
yeah, absolutely. I think the town's had a number of very large initiatives that we've undertaken in the past year and continue to undertake. You know, I've been most impressed with the staff, to be honest with you, with all of our employees, from probably the best finance director in the Commonwealth, Mark Millen, all the way down to probably the most underpaid, impactful grounds foreman you can have in Chris Ganella. Just across the board, across departments, up and down the chain. Barnstable has fantastic folks, and you know, we leverage them to the best that we can, and that starts at the top with Mark. Again, you know, Mark institutes a vision. He's a leader. No one's more committed to education. You know, he has a passion for education, developing our youth, and you know, from that to wanting Barnstable to be the absolute best, to be an international destination with the highest quality of life for our residents, our businesses, and visitors alike. And it starts at the top with him, and it filters down through just an incredible staff. I couldn't be more pleased with all the folks that I work with on a day-to-day basis. That's been the eye-opener to me, really. That in the form of government and how engaged our folks are. Our volunteers. You know, you could talk, we've got 40 boards and commissions, and it's been just a pleasure. I mean, we have volunteers, the Ann Kennedys, Phyllis Millers, Sue French. You could just go, I hesitate to even start listing names because there's so many, but really they are what make Barnstable great, all those volunteers. And for me, it's been new with the form of government. You know, how engaged all of our town councilors are. You know, they really don't just represent on the council floor, but they're intimately involved in such a wide range of issues and intimately involved in our boards and committees. And there's a lot of tough issues out there, from water to adult use marijuana. You know? I mean, it's enjoyable because it's such a wide range of issues. But I've been impressed how engaged they are and how much action takes place. You know, you think, I came from the federal side where it just seems like it takes forever to move the needle, and I expected the same. And I've really been pleasantly surprised how much action has taken place, you know, with our form of government and having town council meet every couple of weeks. You know, items come up, we develop a plan, we present it, and action is taken. And it's really been a breath of fresh air. And I think that a number of initiatives, we have made significant progress the past year. We had a major restructuring that we could talk about a little bit. Asset management's come to the forefront. The RAC, that was huge. You know, our 208 plan, massive initiative. We've gotten some movement recently in asset management. We've got some movement with our armory, where we want to go there. We have a new airport director, Katie Service, filling big shoes with Bud Brialt, and she's leading one of probably our community's biggest initiative with the redevelopment of Cape Town Plaza, where the current Kmart Plaza is, and that's coming to a end of a decades-long lease, and how that ends up being redeveloped. We have a request for proposal out on the street now, and that's going to set the stage not just for revenue for the airport for the next 50 years, but really help define how that 132 corridor is developed for our town, and that being the economic center of the entire Cape. That's very important to the town.
So let's we'll step back a little bit and talk about people. We had two positions specifically that were high profile. We had the chief of police as well as the airport manager change hands this year.
Absolutely.
And as an assistant town manager, those two positions are really critical to the functioning of our town. Speak a little bit to how the transition of one chief to the next and how airport manager to airport manager has gone.
Well, I think it's gone fantastic. Obviously, I already talked a little bit about Katie stepping into Bud's shoes. Matt Sonovan, I think is stepped right in. Obviously, again, Paul McDonald, huge shoes to fill, did an outstanding job with the police department, but Matt's up for the task, and I think that he has stepped right in and addressed issues, and I think he's going to work out great. Both of those positions are paramount. Another one that you didn't mention is Brian Florence. We have a new building commissioner, arguably another tremendous hire. I think we hit it out of the park with Brian. A year ago, 200 Main Street, we had a lot of concerns there, and we've been working to shift from a regulatory vibe to a customer service. Folks want to go there and achieve compliance, but do so, without spending too much time, too much money. And Brian really has implemented significant change. We've always had great people over there, but a lot of our processes and procedures weren't set up to be efficient and effective, and Brian's done a great job. A year ago, we had probably a dozen different permits in the building department. Now we have 2. And just a lot of different things. He works closely with the fire department. Dean Melanson and Brian work closely on identifying a lot of unsafe structures in town and raising those structures. And a lot of that work kind of goes behind the scenes that our residents don't necessarily see day to day, but they're paramount to the safety and security of our town. So.
Right. I think when you talk about people, especially in the town settings here, continuity seems to be a theme in Barnstable. Is that there's this plan for succession.
Yes.
It doesn't always happen in personal and in regular business. Some people who own businesses don't plan for that, but in a town, it has to happen. You need that planned succession for each of these high-profile positions.
We try to, and that's certainly one of the areas that we looked at during restructuring. We tried to identify where our resources were, where our points of exposure were, and certainly succession planning was one of those. We were on the procurement side one deep. We identified, created a position to back up Joanna, and she does fantastic things, but you never want to be one deep in a critical position like that. Right. We have a $200 million organization, and we need to have that continuity. Across the board, planning and development, the same thing. We're able to bring Liz Hartsgrove in to work with Elizabeth Jenkins. I think that's working out fantastic. It's one new hire I did mention was the host of Barnstable Today. I think that's been a 100% success. Knocked that out of the park. So
thank you very much, Andy. I appreciate that. We'll have you on the show again. So we have accomplishments. We have a lot of initiatives that have some challenging pieces to it. One that's always in the forefront of everyone's mind, and should be if it's not, is water and water quality. That is something that I know is from top down. We're all concerned about what's going to happen to our water if it's bad. Between drinking water or recreation water or our oyster beds. I mean, Barnstable has this huge amount of oysters now. Right?
Aquaculture is huge in our community, absolutely.
It really is. It's a
water,
growing
water,
industry.
water.
Water.
A lot of us are here. We've chosen to live here because of the water.
Right.
And,
so, what are the challenges that we're facing?
well, certainly there's regulatory challenges with our drinking water. Water supply is a huge issue, as is wastewater. We're one of the few communities that live on top of the water that they drink. So wastewater is a huge issue for us. Lakes and ponds, that was a point of exposure we attempted to address with restructuring. Darcy does a fantastic job in conservation, but that was an area that clearly needed more resources, and reallocating her into the planning and development to hopefully bring more resources to bear on that area. Water is a tricky thing. Like I said, a lot of us live here because we want access to water, but there's a balancing act there. There's always that give and take between access to water, and that's an extremely important thing, but also balancing access to water with taking care of those assets, making sure that the quality of the water is taken care of. So it's a unique situation. We're very fortunate to have some very valuable, knowledgeable engineers and managers handling that. I mean, Dan Santos and Rob Steen are both renowned for their work in that area. Dan Horn and the whole MEA staff, and protecting those resources, and Nina out at Sandy Neck. I mean, there's good folks doing a lot of good things, but it's a challenge, certainly.
And some of the challenges are, right now, town council is incredibly aggressive on the dredging plans. I don't think people realize that dredging helps kind of bring back some of these diseased ponds and lakes and waterways. So give us an indication of just how aggressive this dredging plan is. It seems like it's going forward. We're a little behind the 8 ball in some of it.
Right. Well, we have a comprehensive dredging plan now, which is a great first step. We've always taken dredging in this community as a project by project. And we know some of our waterways need dredged once every 5 years. Some of them only need dredged every 20 years. Right now we're looking at the Katuitt Cut that hasn't been dredged in a very long time. And that water quality, that certainly is one piece of many. Navigable waterways, access to water, it all ties together. But we've got a good plan now. It's a 20-year plan, but it will go on really in perpetuity. And then we need to look project by project and what is the driver between this particular project, whether is it really the federal channel that we should be leveraging federal dollars for, or is it a lake or a pond that really is driven more by water quality and we should be leveraging CPA funds, general funds. Obviously, each and every project will present challenges and opportunities, but it's great that we have a plan in place. We know that we're looking at between $1 million to $2 million a year that we should be spending on dredging. So another challenge is how do we go about funding that and leveraging all the potential sources of revenue to offset that.
What's been your favorite project so far?
The favorite project?
You've been here a year. What's been like something that you sank your teeth into and really had immerse yourself in?
Well, I think restructuring, really. Mark gave me the opportunity, and it wasn't just me, it was all the directors and really everyone, to take a hard look at what resources we had and where we should best apply them, and to be able to really address some issues, the long-standing issues like asset management, like the lakes and ponds, and reallocate those resources. I enjoyed that, and I think that it'll add positive impact, hopefully, for years to come. That's certainly our intent. But I enjoy all the work. I'm an engineer by trade, so I enjoy looking at the DPW and the workload they have, and they have some exciting stuff going on. We're getting ready to award 3 very large streetscape projects. We've got C Street, Barnstable Village, and exactly, and Marston's Mills. So those projects have been on the books for a long time. So it's really exciting to see them come to fruition. And a lot of folks from planning development to DPW have put a tremendous amount of effort into making sure that the community is getting great work. So those will be exciting to see.
Fantastic. What else do you want the residents to know? How does Barnstable work?
How does Barnstable? Barnstable works great. I really think that I don't need to tell the residents. If I were to say anything, is we have a tremendous opportunity with all of our boards and commissions to be involved, and I encourage everyone to be active, to volunteer to be on those boards and commissions, and they do matter. And not just boards and commissions, but the village associations, the BID, the chamber, all of those folks. And not to toot Mark's horn again, but he does a fantastic job at making sure that all of those voices are heard in every decision he makes. He engages the public. And I know he's been here 30 years and he knows, how things work, but he goes above and beyond in that engagement with the public in everything from hiring our new chief of police to any decision that he makes. He really reaches out to the community. So I would encourage the community to be involved, to whether it's join your local village association or join a board or commission.
Excellent. That's how I started.
Fantastic.
I think we'll have you on again, Andy.
Great.
It won't be just to fill in for Mark. I think we got to get you pretty much a regular slot here.
I like it. All right.
Enjoyed talking to you today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.